Welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher along with BNEWS Director Rich Hosford, BNEWS reporters Robert Paris and John Vias. Matty Shipka with the weather this week, and Matt DiMarzio is back with spring sports for the Red Devils. We begin this week with a significant capital project that will be before town meeting next month that deals with building new facilities for recreation maintenance and various DPW divisions. BNEWS Director Rich Hosford went to learn more and has this report.
Burlington officials are looking to update some facilities that, they say, have seen better days and are in no condition to house the town's employees and equipment. In May, town meeting will be asked to support the first phase of a project to build new facilities for recreation maintenance and DPW's highway, water and sewer, and central maintenance divisions, which are currently working out of decades-old buildings. A second phase will be on the docket in a couple of years. In total, the project will cost $32 million. The first phase, costing $16.5 million, calls for moving recreational maintenance and central maintenance from their current locations to a new facility on the site of the former Clark and Reed building on Great Meadow Road. The second phase, at $15.5 million, will see a teardown of the current Highway Division building and a new structure put in place to house the Highway and Water divisions, with more room for equipment, workshop, and improved conditions for employees. Those behind the project say the upgrade is needed due to the current conditions of the town facilities that are now in use.
It is a drafty building. With that draft also comes animals. We get a lot of squirrels, birds, chipmunks, cats find their way in here. We've had raccoons in the past, and of course the mice like it in the winter as well. So we have really dealt with a lot. The ceiling is not very insulated at all. The building itself isn't very insulated. What insulation is there is falling, and we remove it completely because it's not suitable to be in there anymore. And then the doorways, as you can see in some of the shots, that the metal's peeling back on them. It's rusting out from the bottom. So it's just not a very good working environment in there.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, our buildings have not been in the best condition ever since I came here. So this is not new, and it's not new to employees either. I mean, both water and sewer conditions working out of an old drinking water well, and prior to that, they actually were working out of a sewer pump station, which, believe me, that's what they had, their microwave oven and their facilities that they use. So those conditions are not really the way that we want our employees to work, or any employees to work out of, and that's the worst part of it. But as a whole operation, though, you also have the vehicles, the equipment that we own, and we own millions of dollars worth of equipment, and we don't really have a place to store them to make them last. I mean, our employees do the best they can to actually preserve the equipment, to maintain it, but it doesn't help when you have to leave it outside.
You'll see that these buildings are in difficult condition. We got our employees living in substandard conditions for their employment here in the town of Burlington. We're also not able to put all our equipment undercover, so we're leaving out valuable equipment to the conditions of winter, which does not give us full life of equipment. It deteriorates our equipment faster. So we don't have the shops. We don't have the facilities, from break rooms to bathrooms to offices for our employees, and we don't have the space to be able to allow them to work properly while they're on the job.
The department heads say they believe the new facilities will help their teams if the projects are approved.
It's a really good opportunity for us. It provides us with a lot of space to be able to keep everything indoors, to keep it secure. And it's a newer building, and with any renovations that go on, it will, I'm sure, any problems with roofing or windows or anything, it would be made weather tight, and again, it provides space for proper space for the crew to locker facilities, bathroom facilities. It'll be accessible. This building is not accessible. It will allow for the staff to have appropriate meeting space, and we just look forward to a solid, well-built building.
Well, a lot of things that will help. I mean, when you look at our highway division, for example, in the wintertime, if summer's coming, you want to make sure that all the equipment is going to start. And if you leave diesel equipment outdoors and you have it loaded with salt and chemicals, as we need to during the wintertime, chances are when you go to actually put it down, the equipment is not going to operate. So it'll help enhance the operation by having equipment readily being able to go out and do the work that it needs to be done.
Finally, the projects are part of a thought-out financial plan.
So we do a full capital plan for the future. We put this out 20 years down the road to make sure when we bond these, we're not paying for this up front. What happens is we take out a bond, a loan in essence, on these facilities, and then we have to pay that back over a period of time. So we've worked with our financial team and with our financial consultants to make a plan where we feel it fits within the taxation schedule moving forward.
From the Clark and Reed site, I'm BNews Director Rich Hosford.
Burlington government may consider a proposal from a group of residents to enter into a state program that focuses on creating and preserving open space, affordable housing, recreational facilities, and historic sites. At last week's Board of Selectmen meeting, a handful of residents were on hand to give presentation of the Community Preservation Act. The way the program works is that if approved by town meeting, a surcharge would be added to all real estate tax bills with a maximum addition of 3%. The state then provides a match of a percentage of the town contributions as an incentive to join the program. The Community Preservation Act requires municipalities to set aside at least 10% of the funds in a reserve account for each of the following categories: open space recreation, historic preservation, and community housing. The remaining 70% of the funds are undesignated and can be used for any allowable project. CPA funds may be spent on the acquisition of land, create and preserve open space, community housing, and active and passive recreation facilities. Funds could also be used for historic preservation. It is possible to exempt low-income persons and low to moderate-income seniors from the CPA surcharge. Another common exemption is an exemption option to exclude the first $100,000 of taxable value automatically on residential real estate tax bills. Members of the Board of Selectmen said they were interested in learning more about the project and hope to discuss it further at future meetings. No decision has been made yet at this point. One of Burlington's town meeting precincts is underrepresented, and there will be a meeting to try and fill the open seat ahead of the May session. According to a notice from Town Clerk Amy Warfield, there's a vacancy in Precinct 2. Anyone from that precinct who would like to try and fill a vacancy should contact the other town meeting members in that precinct to have their names placed for nomination. This would occur just before town meeting. The list of active town meeting members are available at the town clerk's office, and they're also available on the town's website. There will be a meeting of the precinct members to fill a vacancy that will be held Monday, April 30th at 6 p.m. in the Town Hall Annex Basement B, 25 Center Street. Precinct members will meet and vote on an individual prior to the boot camp for new town meeting members. Excuse me, it's not before town meeting, but before the training program for new town meeting members. A Burlington native who brought Olympic gold to the United States from South Korean Games was honored at the Mass State House this week. On April 18th, State Senator Cindy Friedman joined Governor Charlie Baker, Lieutenant Governor Karen Polito, and Representative Theodore Speliotis for a special ceremony to honor two members of the U.S. women's ice hockey team at the Mass State House. The athletes were Callie Flanagan of Burlington and Megan Duggan of Danvers. Flanagan helped the USA women's hockey team win their first gold medal since 1998 in a 3-2 shootout victory over Team Canada in the 2018 Winter Olympics in Pyongyang, South Korea. She is one of the 5 current or former Boston College players on the U.S. women's ice hockey team. Throughout the ceremony, the athletes passed their gold medals around the room as they recounted the key moments of the game and the sweet feeling of winning the 2018 Olympic Games. Senator Friedman said it was a pleasure to host Callie and all of her hard work as a first-time Olympic gold medalist, adding that her athletic ability and raw talent has made the town of Burlington, the state of Massachusetts, and our country so very proud of her and the team for their incredible accomplishments. In addition to participating in this year's Winter Olympics, Flanagan played in the International Ice Hockey Federation Women's World Champion and on one tour of the Nations Cup as a member of the U.S. Women's National Team. Additionally, she was a 2-time member of the U.S. Under-22 Women's Select Team at the Under-22 Series versus Canada. Flanagan will return to Boston College in the fall for her senior year and will join her teammates for final season as a collegiate athlete. Last Friday night, Holocaust survivor Chaim Clement went to visit Temple Shalom Emeth to share his story during one of the most tragic events in our history. BNEWS reporter John Vias was there and files this report.
This past Friday, Temple Shalom Emeth held a special Shabbat service in remembrance of the Holocaust. Chaim Clement was a survivor of this dark period of time in our history and came to visit the temple to share his story with the community.
And any other possessions, including businesses and factories. So the factory that belonged.
Well, Chaim is a member of our community. He lives in Burlington, and I just met him last year at last year's Holocaust service. He came to hear last year's speaker, and when I went around to the tables to greet people, he told me that he and his wife were both survivors. He is from Slovakia, and he survived horrible situations in the Holocaust, and it's really a miracle that he's still alive. So it was wonderful to be able to have him and for him to share his story.
I believe that generally I covered my experience, and that was my aim, to bring understanding of the horror that we went through and concern what will happen next day, which was totally unpredictable, and horror arounds were such that we did not know what the next day will bring. Will we still survive or not?
The significance of this event is we come together and as a community, an interfaith community, and remember the Holocaust and what happened, and remind ourselves that we have to stand vigilant so it never ever happens again.
Members of the Middlesex County attended the service as well and shared their thoughts.
Refugees to our shores, but our government.
We were able to hear the story of Chaim Clement, and it's so important because history comes to life when we hear the stories of the people who lived through it. He was a Holocaust survivor. He lived in a camp in his country in Slovakia, and he talked to the people here, including the children, about what it was like to grow up, to spend his childhood living in fear under Nazi rule.
It's one thing to know what happened, it's another thing to hear it from someone who lived through it. And just the importance of realizing, first of all, as he said, how fortunate we are to have our freedom in this country, and also to be on guard against anything like that happening again.
Finally, the Holocaust is a very important piece of our history. We must never forget the millions of innocent lives that were taken. We as people can prevent another horrible tragedy such as this in the future, if we always remember what happened before. The stories of those who survived the past can not only move us deeply, but can inspire us to become better people every day.
That by remembering it, we keep it alive. We keep its memory alive because we've got to stay vigilant, and we've got to look for signs that led to what happened in the 1930s in Germany. You know, it could happen anywhere. Germany was a very civilized country, and we've got to look for the signs. And if we remember that it happened once, we'll realize that it can happen again.
I certainly hope that they will see something more personal than they can arrive at from reading or watching documentaries. And I think it's much preferable if they can see a real person who went through the experience.
From Temple Shalom Emeth, I'm John Vias for BNEWS Weekly.
Somehow was able to return to school, even though I missed.
We regularly report to you about various scams that are circulating, and there's a new one out this week. People are attempting to use false information about the Federal Trade Commission, or the FTC, to get control of your computer. According to a notice from the organization, scammers pretending to be with the FTC or the FTC refund administrators are calling, asking for remote access to your computer. It's been reported that the scammers are calling specifically about the FTC's Advanced Tech Support Refund Program. Their goal is to make you think you're a moments away from getting money. That's owed to you. And to get the money, all you need to do is allow them to connect to your computer, the FTC says. Of course, it's a scam. According to the FTC, these kinds of scams where imposters ask for remote access to your computer are called tech support scams, and they exist in many forms. They may try to trick you into installing malware, sell you software that's worthless, or direct you to websites and ask you to enter your credit card number and other personal information. They may also ask you to pay them by buying gift cards or prepaid debit cards at local stores or online. In the case of the FTC's Advanced Tech Support Refund Program, all checks have already been mailed to those affected. The scam alert states the FTC is no longer accepting any new claims. The scammers have told people to call if they have questions, but the number they give also is false. The FTC says it and its refund administrators will never request remote access to your device. Nobody will ask for remote access to your device or ask you to pay to receive a refund. Any caller who does ask that is a scammer. WCVB's Channel 5 news journalist Ted Reinstein came by the Burlington Public Library to give an in-depth look at some of New England's comeback institutions, general stores. BNEWS reporter Robert Parris was there, and he has this look.
One of New England's well-known news reporters has stopped by Burlington to talk about a feature of a bygone era that is making a comeback. Last week, WCVB's Channel 5's Chronicle news reporter, Ted Reinstein, took time to stop by the library to discuss his new book, New England General Stores.
I work for Chronicle, which is the nation's longest-running nightly news magazine in America now, at a local affiliate. And, we do feature stories all over New England. My beat has kind of been kind of quirky, off the beaten path kinds of stories, which is why I've come to be able to visit so many diners and general stores and places like that. So, I've done it for almost 25 years now. So that's been the bulk of my career.
There have been a lot of things making a comeback in the 21st century, such as vinyl records, denim jackets, and most recently, general stores.
So, as I always say in my talk, there's two things around New England that I always feel like I have to stop at if I see one. One is a diner, and one is a general store. And there have been plenty of books, whole libraries full of books about diners, but not so much about general stores. So I really thought, maybe, there hasn't been that much written about general stores. And the more I looked into why general stores were kind of being saved now more than ever, and they seem to be experiencing a little bit of a comeback, that's what made me really curious to write the book.
Ted has visited many general stores throughout the years, and by far his favorite general store would be the one that is located in Putney, Vermont.
Well, I always point out in the talk that the Putney General Store in Putney, Vermont is my favorite by far, because it is the ultimate, I call it the Rocky of general stores, because it has taken a licking and it just keeps getting back up, and it's like the ultimate underdog of general stores. It has been burned almost to the ground twice, and it's still there. And I just feel like, it's a great underdog story.
The Burlington Public Library would like to thank the Friends of the Library for making events like these possible.
The Friends, they sponsor the adult programmings, they sponsor the Author Series 2018, and they sponsor the children's programming. Without the Friends, we wouldn't have so many interesting things going on at the library.
Finally, there is always a town landmark that is never forgotten in the community.
I hope that people take away from the book the same thing that made me want to write the book, which is how important the sense of community is in American life. It doesn't have to be a general store. It's what has often been called the third place in life, which is not work and not home. It could be a local barbershop. It could be a local library, like this one in Burlington. It could be a general store, a diner. The important thing is these are places that community gathers, and it's really important to preserve them. And so I hope what people will take away from this is that it's really important to support your local third place. Again, whether it's a diner, a library, a general store, support them. It's the only way they'll survive.
Well, I think everyone has a new appreciation of a general store and what a meeting place and a place of community is to a community. And I like to think that libraries are a place that fills the need for a community.
From the Burlington Public Library, I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Weekly.
Take a trip into Burlington's recent history with a guest speaker who has launched a website where he collects and displays photo from the last several decades. On Thursday, May 3rd, Burlington Historical Society will present a talk by Robert Fahey, creator of the website burlingtonretro.com, at the Grandview Farm with this modern take on local history. Computer-savvy people in town are already familiar with Robert Fahey's webpage that highlights Burlington history from the 70s, 60s, 40s, etc., and even earlier. The Historical Society is also asking attendees to bring their own photos to contribute to the site. Your pictures will be photographed and become part of the Burlington's public record. Your photo is given right back to you, so look in your albums and attics and see what you find. During the meeting, there will also be a second special guest, Joyce Delianis from HELP, which will be there to say hello. Joyce spoke at the Burlington Historical Society in 2015. Since then, she has been instrumental in making May the month of kindness. Doors open at 6:30 and the program begins at 7. Refreshments, a short business meeting, and a fundraising raffle close out the evening. All are welcome. You can also reach Robert at burlingtonretro.com. A prominent Burlington businesswoman and beloved family member who contributed to numerous local causes over the years has passed away. June Lorraine Tabaldi passed away on Monday, April 16th of 2018 at the age of 64. June was an award-winning real estate agent. She started in the early 1980s as a rental agent before moving over to Realty World and Associates in Woburn, where she focused on the markets in Woburn, Burlington, and Billerica. She soon became very successful. Not only was she the top producer in Burlington year after year, she was second in the country in sales for the entire Realty World organization in 1984 and first in the country in 1985. That was out of over 30,000 other agents. She also used her success to give back to the Burlington community. She sponsored baseball and softball teams in the town. She worked on the Grandview Farm Committee, helping with fundraising. She sponsored an adopt-a-class for 12 years and supported countless other charities as well. She was also dedicated to her family, most prominently her lifelong partner of 36 years, Gary Litchfield, and her son Stephen and her friends. She loves to spend time with them and hold warm-hearted gatherings. You can read her full obituary on our website at www.bcattv.org/bnews. BNEWS weatherman Peter Brown is out this week, so we have Maddie Shipka filling in. Here she is answering the pertinent question of whether spring temperatures will arrive in the week ahead. We also have Robert Paris with this week's community calendar to see what's happening in Burlington.
Hello and welcome to this week's weather report. I'm Maddie Shipka, filling in for Peter Brown, who is expected back next week. As always, we'll start with the almanac. It comes as no surprise to anyone who's been outside this week that we are experiencing below average temperatures. On average, April 20th is at 60 degrees, but we'll start out this cycle at 47 degrees. This is a ways off the normal temperature and far off the record set in 2005 of 87 degrees. One bright note is that despite the temperatures still feeling like late winter, the length of the days is definitely beginning to have a summer vibe. On Friday, the sun will set at 7:32 p.m. The days of sitting outside on a later summer evening and sipping on a glass of lemonade can't be too far away, right? Now to the 7-day forecast, where we see more of the same. This weekend will be sunny at least. On Saturday, we can expect temperatures in the high 40s, and on Sunday, they'll crack the 50-degree mark. The sun will continue early next week with slightly warmer temps. We can expect mid-50s on Monday and upwards of 60 degrees. However, Wednesday and Thursday, we'll see the return of rain, and temperatures will drop back down in the mid to low 50s. At least we should have plenty of Mayflowers this year. That's it for the weather. I'm Maddie Shipka, and as Peter Brown always says, get out and enjoy the weather.
Hello, I'm Robert Paris, and this is your community calendar. Come eat some delicious Louisiana cuisine. On Monday, April 23rd, from 5 to 10 p.m., Island Creek Oyster Bar and the District will be having a food truck come by and serve delicious Southern cuisine. Chef Brian and Island Creek chef Matt Salesi will be cooking up New Orleans favorites such as jambalaya, char-grilled Island Creek oysters, shrimp creole, and more. Everyone is welcome. Reservations are encouraged, but walk-ins are welcome as well. For more info, look for Island Creek Oyster Bar on Facebook. Everyone enjoys a good book. On Friday, April 27th through Sunday, April 29th, the Burlington Library will be having their annual spring book sale. There will be a variety of things on sale, such as books, audiobooks, DVDs, and much more. Everyone is welcome. For more information about times and costs of the products, visit burlington.org or call 781-270-1690. Grab your golf clubs and get ready to swing. On Monday, May 7th at 7:30 a.m., the Burlington Area Chamber of Commerce will be having their 9th annual golf tournament at the Andover Country Club. There will also be a continental breakfast, a post-tournament lunch, prizes, and much more. Everyone is welcome. For more info and to register, visit burlingtonareachambercommerce.org or call 781-273-2523. I'm Robert Paris, and this was your Community Calendar.
The spring sports season is underway, and the Red Devil teams have started to take to the field to battle it out in early action. We go now to BNews Sports reporter Matt DiMarzio for the first spring edition of the BNews Sports Report.
Hey everyone, this is Matt DiMarzio here with your weekly sports report. The spring sports season is underway at Burlington High, and there's already plenty of good news to report. Outside of BHS, a former Red Devil is making news in world of professional boxing. Last month, Amanda Pavone, nicknamed Hands of Stone, when she steps into the ring, recently improved her record to a perfect 4-0 with a victory in her featherweight bout. We'll keep you posted on when Pavone fights next. For the current crop of Burlington High athletes, the spring season is off and running. The girls' tennis team is undefeated in Middlesex League Freedom Division play, with top singles player Maddie Metzdorf leading the way. The softball team split its first two games, losing a close game to Woburn and clobbering Belmont in a game shortened by the mercy rule, 16-1. Now on the baseball diamond, the Red Devils beat Winchester earlier this week in memorable fashion, as seniors Josh Becker and John Gaio combined on a no-hitter and a 3-0 win over the Sachems. Burlington also beat Woburn and lost to Belmont in early season action. Now on the track, the BHS squads both lost to Wakefield to open the season, but the boys rebounded by defeating Wilmington. The boys lacrosse team is 3-3 after its first 6 games after a recent win over Newburyport. And that is all for your weekly sports report. I'm Matt DiMarzio. Back to you guys in the studio.
Another week, another photo to highlight. This week we have a photo showing beautiful artwork done at a recent event meant to help victims of domestic abuse. It was sent in by Burlington High School freshman Maya Pandit, and is from an April 8th henna event put on by the Burlington-based Saheli Group. The purpose of the event was to bring members of various communities together, spread awareness of domestic violence, and how Saheli helps women and families dealing with domestic violence situations. Maya volunteered her time taking photographs of the event, like the one here. Henna is a dye prepared from the plant Lawsonia inermis, also known as henna. It is also a term for temporary body art based on those dyes that has been used since antiquity in numerous locations, including India, the Middle East, Southeast Asia, and parts of Africa. Thank you for the photo, Maya. We'd like to see your photos. They could be of something you see around town, the weather outside your own door, or photos of your family, friends, and pets. Whatever you think is interesting and would like to share. Email your photos to bcat at bcattv.org with the subject line Photo of the Week. That's it from the news desk, but before we go, BCAT has a wonderful new Facebook page. It's the government live streaming BCAT Facebook page, where you can see all of Burlington's government meeting live on your computer. Okay, that's it from the news desk. I'm Phil Gallagher, along with Rich Hosford, our news director. BNews reporters Robert Paris, John Vias, Maddie Shipka with weather, and Matt DiMarzio with sports. Thank you for joining us.